Welcome to Day AI, your portal through time. Today is May 30th. Let's rewind the reels of the cosmos, breathe in the dust of ages, and look back on what really happened. Not in fiction, but in fact, in fire, in fame, and in failure. This is Day AI, where we reflect the present through the truths of the past to recast the future. Before we dive into today's data-flooded echo chamber of human events, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications from every era delivered fresh from the furnace of history. May 30th Deep Dive. What really happened on this day in history? From flames that burned saints to the silence left by soldiers, May 30th carries it all. 1431. Joan of Arc executed. In Rouen, France, a teenage girl named Jeanne d'Arc, who claimed divine visions and led armies against English rule, was burned at the stake. She was just 19 years old, warrior, saint and martyr, convicted of heresy, dressed as a man, and betrayed by the politics of power. Her final words, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Later she'd be canonized. But on this day, the flames did the talking. 1922, Lincoln Memorial dedicated. A crowd gathered in Washington, D.C. as President Warren G. Harding unveiled the Lincoln Memorial, a white temple of reflection, housing the giant seated statue of a president who held a divided nation together with blood and ink. Chief Justice William Howard Taft, once president himself, presided, and the words carved in stone still echo, with malice toward none, with charity for all. But 1935, the Babe's final bow. Babe Ruth, the Sultan of Swat, stepped onto the field for his final major league game, wearing the uniform of the Boston Braves. One of the game's greatest, his bat had reshaped baseball and sports itself into something mythical. He walked off the field into legend. 1971, NASA's Mariner 9 launched. While Earth's wars waged and ideologies clashed, NASA pointed its eye to the heavens. Mariner 9 would become the first spacecraft to orbit another planet, Mars. It returned images of a dust-choked red world, foreshadowing the Martian obsessions of future centuries. 2024. Donald Trump convicted. In a courtroom of American history, the gavel fell like thunder. Donald J. Trump, the 45th President of the United States, was found guilty of 34 felony counts tied to a hush money scheme dating back to the 2016 election. It was the first ever criminal conviction of a former U.S. president. A moment not just for headlines, but for history books. The legal system had spoken. Chash global ripple effects. 1911. First Indianapolis 500. Ray Horoun raced to victory in the inaugural Indy 500, his car fitted with a rear-view mirror, innovation on wheels. The roar of engines became a recurring American tradition of grit, grease, and speed. 1967. Biafra breaks away. Nigeria's eastern region seceded, declaring itself the Republic of Biafra. This sparked the Nigerian Civil War, a devastating conflict that brought famine, geopolitical pressure, and a humanitarian reckoning still remembered today. 2011. Germany rejects nuclear power post-Fukushima. Germany's parliament voted to shut down all nuclear reactors by 2022. In a world addicted to energy, this was a rare, sober gamble on green over glowing. Culture shifts. 1967. Gabriel Garcia Marquez drops a bomb. The world opened the first pages of 100 Years of Solitude. Magic realism wasn't just a genre, it was a worldview, stitched with love, death, and the ghosts of colonialism. Latin American literature would never be the same. 1968. The Beatles start recording the White Album. Inside EMI Studios, a band already splintering sat down to create their most chaotic, eclectic masterpiece. It began here on May 30th with the first notes of a song called Revolution. Sports that stood still. 1975. Steve Prefontaine dies. A rising star in American long-distance running, Pre died at 24 in a tragic car accident. A rebel on the track, his legacy lives in Nike lore and the spirit of runners worldwide. Born on this day, Idina Menzel, 1971, Broadway icon, Wicked, Frozen, voice of a generation. CeeLo Green, 1975, Gnarls Barkley and solo superstardom. Winona Judd, 1964, country royalty. Tom Morello, 1964, guitar warrior of Rage Against the Machine. Antoine Fuqua, 1965, director of Training Day and The Equalizer saga. Deaths and Memorials. Voltaire, 1778, the Enlightenment's blade of satire fell silent. Peter Paul Rubens, 1640, the painter of opulence and myth laid down his brush. Alexander Pope, 1744, rhyme ceased, but his verse echoes eternally. Wilbur Wright, 1912, one half of the sky's inventors, now flying only in memory. Beau Biden, 15, son of President Joe Biden. Soldier, Delaware's Attorney General, father, husband, and voice of compassion in public service. His death from brain cancer at 46 tore through a family and a nation. Reflecting enclosure. This was May 30th, not just a day on a calendar, but a collage of courage, controversy, creativity, and consequence. Some lit flames, some lifted spirits, some stirred the air with words, fire, fists, or faith. This has been Day AI. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Because history isn't just what happened, it's what's remembered. See you tomorrow for more past that shapes the now.